please, Your Excellency, accept this flag as a symbol of our cooperation.
It's of a regular size, so it's not so symbolic. It's it's a real flag.
Like this, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And also, the paper with symbolic wishes. Mr. President, best wishes in carrying the spark of democracy forward. Thank
you. Your Excellency, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
Mr. Minister, I applaud the government and the people of Lithuania for their successful presidency and their tangible contribution to democracy. I was honored to be a part of that movement. If someone had told me in 1990 that one day Mongolia would preside over the community of democracies, I would have shook my head in disbelief. Yet today, just over 2 decades later, I am gathered with you not just to participate in this meeting, but to accept the presidency of this organization for the next 2 years. To our Lithuanian hostess, I want to extend to you an empathetic, well done, and great job in your leadership and dedication to the community of democracies. Yours are big shoes to fill. On behalf of all Mongolians, I want to thank you for giving us the honor of this presidency. We look forward to the challenges ahead with enthusiasm and energy, and we look forward to your efforts during the coming 2 years. And together we know we will do many great things to advance the cause of freedom that is so dear to our hearts. I think we need every one of yours help and cooperation. And we all know that our community became richer with new pillars of parliamentary, youth, and business forums, in addition to already vibrant civil society. What we'll do, I think our agenda is, there are maybe 5 things in our mind. We will support the public participation. It's impossible to build civic society without civic participation. It's impossible to build human society without human rights. Because of that, I think those rights are actually expressed essentially in a participation. Because of that, I think Mongolia will be a role model supporting the public participation. Second issue, justice issue is very important, related with the transparency and accountability. We know that corruption is the mortal enemy of any democracy. Because of that, I think we have to strengthen those institutions, also help that. Education is a very important issue, and also experience sharing. I think those countries who had a great transition and also new ones have their experiences, and we support to share that. NGO, I know that youth in our board already and women very active in our board. I think we have to bring now our students in our board. In many countries, we know that, main engine, main driving force of any big transition was students. Also, from our experience, we see that they are the gatekeepers. If there is a danger to democracy, democratic governance, usually students take part and go to streets and also to make pressure and express the public will. Other thing, I think we see there are still big impediments and still difficulties for the democracy. For example, in Belarus. I really don't understand Mr. Lukashenko, now president, his opponent is prisoner. I don't understand. how it can happen. You know, his opponent in jail, Mr. Lukashenko in bail. I don't understand that. And I think we should condemn this kind of things. I think justice is non-negotiable. That's absolute. Justice is blind. Justice, nobody can make the smile justice to yourself, and to others have a dirty look. Justice is blind. I think also one thing I would like to mention, that I heard some news from Burma, for example. Ms. Aung San Suu Kyi is threatened, her way of life. And I think it should be condemned unconditionally. I know that human rights, human dignity is universal, and every human being entitled from birth to have it. And I think we would like to see those rights in every country. And we will support those new democracies in North Africa, Middle East, and everywhere in the world. I think each one has a potential to exercise his or her right. Some people say that's the cultural. No, that's the natural. You know, human rights is natural. That's not the cultural things. And we see from those developments which are happening in Middle East. And also I believe very strongly in power of freedom. And freedom has a unique power. That power is to create, creation. Free people tend to be creative. Free people tend to be thoughtful. Because freedom leads ultimately to peace and prosperity. You know, from my experience, no authoritarian government, no military regime can stand against collective will of the people who determined to be free. I think God has planted everyone's heart desire to live free. Maybe for some time those tyrannies, those regimes can crush those desires, but it will rise again. You know, my nation, Mongolia, one time forced some nations to build biggest wall in the world. But now we will help to tear down those dark curtain which separates those nations and those human beings and from each other. And we will help them. And thank you. God bless the freedom.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is open for your questions. My colleague is happy to pass the microphone to the willing. Yeah, please.
Raymond Lloyd, the editor of the Parity Democrat Westminster. By the time Mongolia hosts the 7th ministerial meeting of the Community of Democracies in 2013, will Mongolia have become the first country in Asia to form a parity government of equal numbers of women and men ministers, as in Finland and Sweden? Will you invite the women president of India or the Prime Minister of Australia to co-host a panel on women enhancing democracy? And will you have taken the first steps to form a Council of Asia, which, like the Council of Europe, would comprise only the democracies of Asia?
I think, yeah, yours are questions, also yours are the good ideas and the very good suggestions for us. You know, Mongolia is the only country in our part of the world that made political reform and economic reform at the same time in the late of 1980s. Mongolia is the most vibrant, most liberal political and economic establishment between Russian Federation and Chinese People's Republic of China. And because of that, I think we are really proud to take in this driving seat in a community of democracy. And those are, I think, those are the suggestions. We will do everything, and every day we hear good insights and good things. And will you create that? Will you do that? And I think we will try to do everything. And you know, free people, free country usually create good things. And we are open for the good and free and youthful thoughts. Of course, yeah, my country will, you know, we have an envy that those women holding those higher offices in Lithuania, in Baltic countries, I think we are striving for that. In a local level, there are almost 30% of Mongolians are very active, Mongolian women holding the office and members of the local parliament. But in a high level, there is shortages of women, and we will support it, certainly.
Thank you. Next question, please. Yeah.
Тэгэхээр өглөө Литва улсын ерөнхийлөгч 53 зорилттой 2 жилийн хугацаанд үндсэндээ хүрлээ гэж хөтсөн байгаа. Тэгэхээр 4 жил авч байгаа монголчуудыг ямар зорилт тавьж хэрхэн ажилласаа гэж хүсэж байна вэ?